The special envoy for Syria, Kofi Annan, has arrived in Damascus as the Assad regime comes under increasing pressure over the killing of civilians. The UN Security Council has unanimously condemned the Syrian government for killing at least 108 people in Syria on Friday. That condemnation required Russia's support, but Moscow maintains Syria's rebels must share the blame for the massacre. Middle East correspondent Ann Barker reports.
A tiny baby is one of the lucky survivors in Hula, although like hundreds more people, the child was injured in the worst massacre since the uprising began. This man lost a hand during the shelling. United Nations monitors have visited Hula, where they counted more than 100 bodies, 49 children and 34 women. The UN team were in the town as some of the bodies were taken to burial in another mass grave. The monitors have confirmed that artillery and tank shells were used to attack a residential neighbourhood. Local residents surrounded them to recount what happened.
They stopped the shelling and then they continue. They continued yesterday until 2 at night.
The slaughter at Hula sparked condemnation around the world. The UN Security Council has held an emergency session on Syria.
The Syrian government had claimed there were no tanks in the area. That is clearly a lie. The fact is that it is an atrocity and it was perpetrated by the Syrian government.
I would like here to condemn also, on behalf of my government, the tsunami of lies that were said a few minutes ago by some members of the Council.
And Britain is pushing Russia to take a bigger role to pressure Syria to comply with last month's ceasefire. During a visit to Moscow, the UK Foreign Secretary said Kofi Annan's peace plan is Syria's only chance to save itself from complete collapse.
The alternatives are the Annan plan or ever-increasing chaos in Syria and a descent closer and closer to all-out civil war and collapse.
Russia says it doesn't support the regime of Bashar al-Assad and it's deeply alarmed at the killings in Hula. But its foreign minister says Syrian rebels are partly responsible.
If we all honestly want to help fulfil the Annan plan, we need to put pressure on all players inside Syria who are standing with weapons in their hands facing each other. There can be no exceptions.
UN monitors say they'll continue their mission in Syria. Kofi Annan has now arrived in Damascus for talks with top officials. He says he'll have serious and frank discussions with the President and Foreign Minister. Ann Barker, Late Line.